Winston Lin. Give my great hands of applause, folks, to this superstar, movie star, humanitarian. He's going to say a little bit and then we play his fabulous Grammy-nominated music. Winston.
Thank you. Big hug. Thank you, Leon. Happy New Year, everybody. 您新年快乐，恭喜发财。Yes, I know, I'm part Chinese. My father's actually Chinese and mother is British. But I spent half my life growing up in the UK and 10 years living in Hong Kong. 7 years ago, I started a foundation called We Can Save Children, protecting the rights of children who are trafficked, sold into child slavery, children who have been caught in conflict, also orphan children and child refugees. The work I do has taken me from East to West Africa, from Uganda to Ghana, and also in the past 3 years I've spent, goodness, at least 6 months of each year throughout the Middle East, going from Syria to Lebanon to Palestine to Iraq, and even in Iran too. So far, actually, what Leon said, he always repeats that story, but it's actually true what happened to me in South Sudan. I was shot at by a bullet that ricocheted from a child soldier using a Kalashnikov AK-47, and it ricocheted off the actual Kevlar helmet I was wearing. So that actually is true. The rest of it, I don't know, sounds good. I wrote a book that was published about 3 months ago called Childhood Lost. Came out on Barnes & Noble. And it's about my humanitarian pursuits and much of all the stories that I have experienced in the past 7 years traveling to some of the most dangerous countries actually in the world. I just actually found out today that my visa for Syria is confirmed again. So I was in Syria 2.5 years ago, and I'm actually going back on February the 18th. And that is to help and aid some Syrian families. And also I'll be spending some time, thank you Leon, in Lebanon where I work helping and aiding children in some of the refugee camps, Palestinian refugees. And we aid them with scholastic supplies, medical supplies, clothes, and so forth. So to this date, we've actually rescued some close to 2,000 children from these regions of the world. No need for that. I'll just end with, you'll see the photo on the cover of this book. And it's actually a photo that I took. And I wouldn't classify myself as a war journalist. I actually really don't like taking photos of children who are enslaved as this boy was. But it happened this day. We were going to do a rescue and recovery of children that were going to be sold into slavery. And we had been, a plan was put into place, so we had security, we had the police, we had even national news there. And this little boy was sitting on this stone step, raggedy pants, looking off into the distance, and I stared at him for a couple of minutes, and I don't know what came over me. I took my phone out and just quickly snapped a photo and put the phone away. And that day, when the rescue was supposed to happen, we were told by the government that we had to kind of stop and we couldn't follow through with the rescue. And otherwise we would have been arrested at that time. And one of the organizers, as we were leaving, he looked at me and he said, "This boy will be sold probably later on that day for a mere $20. And there were also two girls holding hands, sitting 3-4 steps above him, also would be sold too. And that day, I remember coming back to New York, and I remember going to an Army and Navy store in Manhattan to get buy some actual socks for subtropical Saharan Africa. I had actually taken the wrong socks. I had winter socks on as opposed to socks for this tropical climate. And so, of course, I came back with what is called jungle rot or foot rot. And I went in the store and I asked the owner, who I knew quite well, I said, I need some socks. And he said, don't look on the wall, I'll get you the right socks. So he came out, I said, give me 3 pairs. And he came out with 3 pairs of socks and he said, $60. And I said, wow, $60 for 3 pairs of socks? He said, well, you wanted the best socks. And when I left the store, I remember it was raining just like it is today. And I walked about a block and I fell to my knees in the rain because it just dawned on me. I spent $60, $20 a piece when these children were being sold that day for $20 each. And that day has stayed with me like many days I've experienced. So thank you. If you're so inclined, it is depressing, but it's the nature of reality in some parts of the world. So you can get it on Barnes & Noble. Thank you for your time. And as Leon said, there is a song that I wrote. We wrote it really for world peace and for what I do, called Just Imagine People United. It was nominated actually very recently for the Hollywood Music Awards and also submission for Grammys too. So please take a listen. Thank you.